Chapter 12 action.
Peace and power, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Shout out to Rachel. Rachel said, "Where y'all been?" At least if you want me to put something on the screen, you can type it in the box, in the chat box.
Okay, so I only have private chat. Peace and power, everyone.
The comment box of the video.
It's only say private chat.
Really?
For me. That's the only way I can actually type. If I put it on regular comments, then I cannot type.
So, did you try going to the YouTube on your well, on the channel and listening to it on your phone?
Let me do it on my phone.
Yeah, cause then that's the comments too. I just turned the volume all the way down so it won't echo.
Hmm.
But usually I'm gonna be commenting today from Katie's Alchemy. Right on over here. That gives us a little more traffic to the channel as well. Peace and power. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are in chapter 12, negative male broadcast. And so, just like when we were reading the feminine, now we're gonna be reading the masculine of the negative male broadcast. And so, welcome to the new people. Welcome back to everybody else. I am Nina from Styles by Nina LLC. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and comment. Shout out to everybody that comments. If you don't see your comment, I have to go and approve them because I was getting spam comments at one point. And so I will be approving those. So when I get time, I have been working. And so I haven't been going live on a daily to pull the cards or anything because I'm busy. When I get off, I'm studying, trying to free my family financially, shifting this energy. We are in the moon. Mars just went retrograde, and the moon is in Mars. And so for me, it's about battling. Mars is not afraid. Battling any type of systematic oppression, because that's what it is.
Hmm.
There's systems and codes and all that stuff that's put in place, and you could either, like the Kabbalion say, make the law work for you, or you fall on that other end of the spectrum. And so we're using this Mars energy. A lot of people look at the transit as negative, Mars in retrograde. We know retrograde means miscommunication, might be aggressive.
Hmm.
Um, you saying stuff you wouldn't normally say, getting things off your chest. I'm a Gemini moon. That's Mercury. I'm for that all the time. It ain't gotta be a retrograde. I'm, I'm gonna say it. Okay. And it might not be popular, but it ain't gonna be on my chest. And so, with that being said, we're using this energy to correct our um, standing in society. We're going from public to private, and we're not just doing it in a put it on paper kind of way. You actually have to be out here getting it done. I was looking at
Hmm.
my glasses. But yeah, yeah. Don't forget on Twitter, I'm Urban Intellectual. And y'all, I know I haven't been on Twitter. Don't worry about it. When I get over there, I'm gonna post a lot of stuff at one time. So it'll give y'all stuff to look into and to research. Shout out to Rachel. Rachel says she bought her some law books. She's been out here studying. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. We have, I think Mars is in Capricorn too. Let me look instead of saying I think. How about that?
Right.
Yeah, you gotta look up these energies. Mars is in Gemini for the next. It ends in 5 months, and so for me, that's just the thoughts, the communication, and then Mars is about the action, using the details to change something, making changes in a big way. We also have Venus and Scorpio. It's going to be there for 2 more weeks. And Scorpio deals with wealth, wealth. Venus deals with nice, beautiful things, all the luxuries, the things that make you feel good. And so y'all just want to make sure you're tuning in and doing what you need to be doing at this time. We also got the sun in Scorpio, shining light where there was darkness on stuff you didn't know, and then you using that Mars energy, taking action to shift. So we ain't gonna bore y'all with astrology. Everybody who watches pretty much know that's my thing, but it's serious. So I hope everybody's out there working, 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 working. And so, Lisa,
Yes, peace and power, everyone. My name is Lisa. On Instagram is Lisa3Mac, and my business is Apples Forever Scent. So if you are interested in, candles, definitely send me a DM. I would love to create for you because I'm definitely a creator. Um, and yeah, I mean, like, let's get started.
let's get started. Y'all don't forget to place your body butter orders. I still got body butter, so I can't just even get on here and tell you about the new creations I have. I'm gonna let that run totally out and then clean our containers for the glass and then make some new fresh stuff. And so don't feel bad if you can't afford it. Y'all know my time is my money. And so my body butters are not like the average. It takes me like 2 days to get your stuff. Sorry. I'm taking St. John's wort. It's good for relaxing the nervous system. And so we want to be in a relaxed state. We've been studying for like the last week, me and Lisa. And so I have to read. I need to start slowing my mind down. I be having a million thoughts at one time.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm gonna start. Am I starting now?
Oh no, I'm starting this time.
Okay. You saw how many pages?
Yes, 10.
Okay.
Let me just double check. Yeah. Yep.
10.
Alrighty. Chapter 12, negative male broadcast. Before I start, did you want to put this chart up?
You read my mind. I'm like, let me put the chart up. Okay.
All right, so I'll let you do that first before I actually, before I start.
Good, because we ain't rushing.
In the mean,
Um,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh no, I don't know what I was going to say, girl. My mind is all over the place. All the studying that we've been doing, it's like coming back to this book is so important as well, because we are
Hmm.
trying to heal our brothers. And in the meantime, with us studying to keep private has taken a whole light on everything, like in general.
Yeah. So don't be surprised if these videos with us in it get pulled later on.
Um,
We removing our images from these platforms, and we finna tax them if they don't do what we asked them to do. Okay. So don't be surprised. But I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, so we're being taught to put our face everywhere. Really, you need to just be speaking in action.
hmm.
The people who see you gonna show up to come see you.
Right.
All these platforms, that's gonna be out sooner or later.
Yep.
How many charts was it in here? Let me make sure I get them all, y'all.
One, one.
Okay, let me send it on in. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about what we've been studying.
And
Um,
don't get it wrong, we're not born because we studying now. Don't get that twisted. We love to go have fun too, but we also got to take priority is as to what's important before things change.
Right. And this is very important.
Yeah.
Getting your stuff together is very important. I had invited Lisa and a couple of my select friends that I invest with. We all invest, we pay money for these classes and stuff. So if you didn't get an invite, it just may be something that I didn't think you would be into. I invited 15 people, 5 showed up, and 3 are in. And so for me, that's a good foundation.
Mm-hmm.
As it was awesome. If you are interested, at a later date, all of us will be starting our own financial group, and we will be charging, of course, for you to participate because we had to do the same thing, you know. And so, in that, it's just been a good 2 weeks staying focused. All of this work is we'll be able to see the fruits of our labor soon, and that's the best part about it. And then we can really be out here doing what we love, and so I'm excited. I am
Yeah.
excited.
Me too. I can't wait. I'm like, oh,
I was telling Karen this, I'm for the showing up in a mink coat. Run me
right.
my check.
We gonna be like, who that? Oh, what done happened? What did I miss? Hmm.
Say's got to be extra. Give me my monies. Got to be extra. I don't know how to send an attachment on Google. Let me get on Hotmail. Try. This looks very foreign. But yeah, and when she was in that video and she was talking about LinkedIn too, and I'm just talking with y'all, not being rude, but I was just that crossed my mind because that's a whole platform for businesses, and we don't use it.
Uh-huh.
We'll put our page on there, but we don't get on there and actually socialize to see who's who.
Yep.
And so that's key important.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm sending it right now. Oh yeah, I'm excited too. We've been studying. Usually, me and Lisa keep saying we're gonna stay up, and then we both go to bed.
Hmm.
We be going to bed.
Yeah, we trying to get out that 9 to 5 mile set.
Right.
It's coming though.
And so we did good. We stayed up a couple of nights instead of going to sleep. And the best part about it was worth it. Like, dang.
Yep.
Because it ignites something. Then you feel like, oh, I got to find out more. Like, what's next?
Hmm. And keep you chasing.
Aries, action. Keep your
Yep.
Aries going after it. Okay, so now I'm waiting for it to come in. Let me share the screen. I hope everybody's month has been going well. It feels like this month went by so fast.
Yeah, it did. It seemed like the months are flying by like years, or I don't
Yeah,
know. The time is just flying.
absolutely.
That's why we're trying to get this information out as much as possible. So if some females or some males that might need to listen to this book, definitely send it to them. We need everybody to heal, and our men are very important, very important.
Right. They the soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those women ain't finna be out there warring. We don't want to be on the front line. Some women do.
right, right. All right,
Okay.
y'all. So the chart is up. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Chapter 12, negative male broadcast. First one is warrior. You belong to me. Stay hidden so that trouble does not follow you back to me. I cannot risk myself due to your carelessness. Submit to my authority, or I will punish you. The eagle. In my house, it is my way or the highway. Your goals are secondary and often foolish. Respect my decisions no matter how wrong they are. I may not be looking ahead, but you had better not criticize my failures anyway. The healer. Do not value women. I am hard to please. I care nothing for your troubles. I cannot even fix my own. Do not offer your heart to me. I will break it. Hunter. I am the alpha male tyrant. Look at my house, my car, my things, and bow down to me. I believe in scarcity. I will not unite with other men. I own and possess you as property. If you betray my rule, I will beat you, then sell you. The table showing the negative broadcast is fairly straightforward, but for the sake of absolute clarity, let's repeat the key points. All men are not equal. They are born with the same DNA, but much of the DNA is dormant until he activates that attribute. This is especially true of male traits that are associated with the sexual aspects of his life. Ask yourself two questions. What male archetype energies do I have online? Which of the four? What energy am I broadcasting to females in my vicinity? You should know that if you do not have one of the four attributes online yet, it is most likely that to females you are broadcasting the negative version of it. Determine what your archetype profile is. That is, which archetypes are online for you and which ones are not. For an example, an adult man may understand in his mind a certain obligation to defend his woman, but that is no guarantee that he will actually do it with the crisis when the crisis comes. His conscious mind has very little to do with it. His intentions are shaped by his energy. Examine the table. Be honest. Recall your past behavior with females. In the past, have your four archetypes been positive or negative? How have females responded to you? Review for each of the four archetypes. Does their response indicate that your energy broadcast was more on the positive side or more on the negative side? Again, go back in time and consider each archetype. Look at it from your perspective. Then examine it again from the perspective of the females you have had dealings with you. Even if the relationship was work related to or platonic, write down your findings. We have all met men who are a big success in one area of their life, but do not seem to do well, versed in other aspects, and this is a perfect example of this phenomenon. And so most males enter adulthood with only a partial development of their male attributes. They are in effect impaired, and they enter adulthood with a disposition to rely on one type of masculine energy instead of having the use of all four, as they should. At the start of adult life, males enter a zone in which their world view is dominated by one of the four archetypes. The healer, they are driven by a world view defined by pleasure and sensory experience. Life to them is like a game show. They want to have fun, but be festive. By instinct, the healer can sense the original persona of a person and senses when a person is not authentic. They know the status quo is wrong, but often do not know what it should change to. Hunter. They are driven by a worldview defined by money and status. Wealth is not the objective, but the status and message that achieving the wealth telegraphs. Life to them is like a big game hunt. They want to shoot the big beast, bag the prize, win the medal for most valuable player, and buy the biggest house on the block. They seek the trophy. This is an emblem making the statement that, yes, I am the alpha male, and my trophy proves it. I can take better care of my woman. They seek some means to stand above their peers, a competitive advantage. Social standing is important. Life to them is a contest or race. Warrior, they are driven by a worldview defined by feelings and compassion. They are humanitarian. Their life is defined by service and devotion to a cause. They care about the poor, the humble, the meek, and abhor the injustice they see. The army attracts them, and these will see themselves charging into battle to save a wounded comrade. They shout, I am the alpha male. My sword proves it. This is the archetype of the hero. That is the ideal that they aspire to. They earnestly desire to protect and secure the female. They desire to make things right for her. And last, we have the eagle. They are driven by a worldview defined by information. Information is power. Science and information is their weapon of control. Here has the spirit of a pioneer. He relies on reason and watches other powerful men fall for lack of insight. They gravitate toward technology and academics from an intuitive knowing that power and money do not change the world, knowledge does. Life to them is a puzzle that must be figured out. They declare, I am the alpha male. My brain proves it. And although they are right for the most part, the alluring women with the herd brains are rarely involved enough to realize this. They watch the news and see things other men do not see. So, that was a lot of information about those four archetypes. Which one stands out for you?
Well, you said I am the alpha male. My sword proves it, and
Mm.
that ideal is just I could take better care of my woman. Is that what it said?
Um,
Oh no, this one.
well,
My
protect and
trophy.
secure.
You said what?
It says they desire to protect and secure the female.
Yeah, that one. Now that's one that stood. Look, I'm putting notes on my notes. This is going into my manifestation, and I was thinking about the hunter too. That's the one that just tries to prove himself through things. I got the biggest house. I got the
Mhm.
nicest car, and so I like the combination of all of them, of course, because if a person is balanced, they're gonna be a hunter when it's time. All of it is necessary. But the warrior, I like to feel protected.
Mhm.
And I know this is the negative broadcast, but I guess most of the men I've dealt with, yeah, they well, I'm just thinking to protect and secure. I just feel like a lot of men don't know that this would be a negative broadcast. So what we just read, it is the negative, right?
Um, yeah, it is negative. Yep.
Oh, the chart showed the negative type, but what we're reading is like the positive.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the type of energy I would want around. I like to feel protected. That's the one that stood out the most. The eagle. Actual power.
Yeah. I know for me, well, what I've seen, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen the eagle, defined by information,
Uh-huh.
power. But of course, I would like to see all of them in a man,
Right.
because each of them talk about something positive that we as a female would need from that male.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like the eagle, we see that now in the conscious community.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these bro, my brain proves it. I
Mm-hmm.
know all of the whatever. It's like okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna, I'm gonna need you to be a little more balanced. I need you to bring a little more than just your brain.
exactly, exactly. And that's the thing. They, for the ego archetype, they do, they want to they're bringing their brain and the information and knowledge that they have, but they're lacking the other three.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know so with that being said, somehow some way they have to find out, how can I get those other three archetypes so I can be complete.
yeah.
So
I'm
that's
just
just it.
thinking the healer too though, because it's like for a minute in the conscious community, you had these brothers and they were talking about big time meditation, and I get it. It's an industry. You
Hmm.
can make a lot of money being a male in that industry, but it's just like, yeah, you need to be balanced because when it's time for war, you're not gonna be able to meditate yourself out of war, you know.
Right.
And so, okay,
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, this should give the reader a different way to look at it. If any of the descriptions worldview above seem to apply to you, chances are you only have one archetype online. If so, know that you are broadcasting the negative versions of the other three. That is how it works. Can you have a little of one archetype energy? Yes, you can. In all of these four profiles, we see the central theme of dysfunction through which the main problems in a man's life will come, especially problems in their relationships. For the worldview of all four, and the way each sees life is flawed, a man should draw on all four worldviews and any other life themes as the situation calls for it. He cannot lock himself into just one, for life is all about change and adaptation. It is like a mechanic trying to fix cars with three-quarters of the tools missing from his toolbox. A very hard thing to do. Women and children are complete beings with multiple needs that span a worldview of life situations. Each of the partial versions of a man want to claim that he is the alpha male, when in truth, none of them are. The healer can please a typical woman better than any, but even he is an incomplete package. A real man must have some ability to express all four. See, we just said that, right? Study what has been said above. Read it over and over. Determine what archetype you think you best present. You may have more than one energy, but most men under 40 express only one archetype with any clarity. Ask yourself, ask your friends to help you. It is very important to be honest about this. Puberty is a part of the development schedule during the second period in the human development cycle. Each period in this cycle lasts for 7 years. From birth to the end of the 6th year is period 1. So from year 7 to year 14 composes the second period. Boys who are born prematurely tend to experience puberty earlier in the cycle, while those who mature in the womb past 9 months tend to start later. At some point in the second period, his master masculine faculty awakens and starts to bring his masculine archetypes and their male attributes online. This is called puberty. However, as soon as a young boy starts a development process of activating his archetypes, the forces exerted by the scarcity model pushes in to shut him down. The scarcity model acts on him via the economy, the church, the local civil laws, his peers, and even his parents. Scarcity is present in everything from his cell phone and computer to his car. It acts very just about every agency and institution he encounters. The pressure is for him to conform to the herd mentality. And for 95% of our boys, these forces are too strong to resist. For his parents, the school system, his peers, his church, and the government all are acting to shut him down. At first, the young boys fight bravely to remain free, sovereign, and creative. They rebel against their parents, and society of an instant, but this does not prevail. In a short time, the master masculine faculty shuts down. It goes into remission and becomes dormant. But before the master masculine faculty is shut down, it does bring some aspect of the 4 archetypes of his masculine energy and their attributes online. In most, one archetype is dominant, and so most males enter adulthood with only a partial development of their male attributes. They are in effect impaired, and they enter adulthood with a disposition to rely on one type of masculine energy instead of having the use of all 4 as they should. Understand that your masculine broadcast is subliminal. It is not material. It is not how you dress, your public facade, or what car you drive. It is not your watch or the brand of your shoes. It is the core, the vibration you give off that precedes you and goes before you. Try to gain a better understanding of how women perceive your individual broadcasts. Why do you tend to draw a certain type of woman to you? The herd mentality. Impact of money, power, and religion. It should be common sense, logical, a self-evident conclusion that if a man follows the general path of the typical men before him, there is a high likelihood he will end up in the same condition they did. Master Yao. Humans are born with the elemental natures of masculine and feminine. Before these traits were sexual, before they were energetic, they were elemental. Please consider this, ponder this, seek to be fully cognizant of this meaning. For the DNA is an energetic blueprint. written in a four-phase elemental code. The final product is chemical. Yes, we can all agree on that. It produces physical things. But what the DNA is talking about in its genes is an energy thing, not a physical thing. The genes are not defining a physical characteristic used in physical makers. No, it is defining physical things using energy markers. If these natal elemental energetic sexual potentials are cultivated into the actual adult personality of men and women, they will naturally come together in relationships that are guaranteed to produce positive outcomes. We are born with what we need. It is only necessary to cultivate what is already naturally there. Nothing else needs to be added to a recipe that is already perfect. When we add artificial attributes to the male or female personality that hinder or conflict with the natural ones, it destroys the harmony between the sexes. It upsets the energy equation. When a large number of people come together in urban cities or large groups, the society that results develops a herd mentality or a hive mentality. Basically, when we see a large percent of the population all doing something, there is a perception that it must be right. Of course, it is an equal chance to be right or wrong. Often it is wrong. This is how large masses of people get away from natural living. People who have power want more. Governments struggle to maintain control over populations. Institutions seek to continue to exist and maintain their level of influence. And so it goes. Governments, organizations, and institutions do things to influence the behavior of people, whatever regard for if it is wrong or right. You want to pick up here? Top of 91. You on mute.
I'm like, Lisa, stop trying to trick me. That ain't 5 pages.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
One, two, three,
Oh, wait a minute.
four, five.
Girl. My bad, y'all. My bad. Okay. But before I continue, was there anything that you want that stood out that you wanted to go over?
No, was it anything that stood out to you?
I mean, no, because for me, a lot of this stuff that I'm reading, and not stuff, information, is all new to me, and I'm just like, what? So for me, not right now, but of course I'm going to go back and listen to it, and I'm sure that we'll get on the phone and talk further about it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like what always stands out is like the herd mentality,
Mm-hmm.
the hive mentality. Um, we don't think it is. It's just like even with the consciousness, it's just like okay, so everybody's doing this. This must be the way to go. So you're going around, but it's just like no, it's really not. Everybody's journey is separate, and so everybody might not arrive at the same time. And then we go around and we get the information, and then we look down our noses at others who are not into it, and it's just like, no, that's not cool. And I say we because I speak of us as a community.
Mm-hmm.
That brain, the ego, that type of, it's just like, yeah, that it's a real thing. Just thinking that just the average person can't even have a conversation with you because you know so much. It's kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
it's still a type of herd mentality because it gotta be right, and let's go full for it. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it comes in and it doesn't serve a purpose, because if you, even if you know all this stuff and you're not applying it, then how is that improving the whole? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not enough just to know it. And so that's the thing with that. But
But you know what though? Now that you say that, right? It is true because a lot of times people just follow. People don't read for themselves to learn. They just follow. So if I saw you doing something and I'm like, oh, I want to do that too. Instead of me going to read to get information about it, I'm just gonna follow the way you do it. And then it's a trend. Everybody just does the same thing, and then we're all doing it wrong. So when it's time to be corrected, right? It's
right,
hard because we actually never read.
right, right. And that's what my homegirl Carol Nielsen, she was saying, y'all know the one that jumped on her, but when she's sharing information, she always say, read it for yourself,
Right.
so that when somebody is asking a question, you know for
Mhm.
yourself. Hmm.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
But yeah,
Okay. All right. So let's get back to the herd mentality. Let's learn some more about that. Okay. They do it because they can, period. This is how false beliefs come into existence. And thus, large followers of people will replace a natural aspect of our natal perfect recipe with something that is artificial and imperfect. The correcting influence of the herd mind is most often associated with the institutions of money, power, or religion. Thus, when we trace the bad idea or bad behavior back to its source, the source is normally the government, the corporate business structure, banking, politics, stock market, religious institutions, and semi religious organizations. I am not asking you to examine those institutions. I am asking you to examine what influence those institutions have had on your personal belief systems. He said a mouthful right there. Said a mouthful.
that's true, because most of us think the way we think because of religion.
Yep. Said a mouthful.
Hmm.
All right. It is the dynamics surrounding money, power, and religion that are behind the introduction of artificial attributes into the character of men. A herd mentality comes into his mind and he considers what is normal or typical to be right. But what is typical is most often wrong. By wrong, I mean not natural. Therefore, the men and women who choose to conform to the herd mentality cannot and do not properly cultivate the natural and natal attributes of feminine and masculine. The negative impact of this is most evident during the critical teenage years. As a result, during the formative years, when boys are developing into men, there is a tendency for his natural development to be stunted, and in the place of his natural masculine persona, he develops a counterfeit persona instead. The outcome of all this is a creation of masses of adult men who are underdeveloped in such a way that they are not fully capable of conducting a marriage, guiding a cohesive family, a cohesive community, supporting others, defending others, or contributing to a sustainable economy. Add to this the equally dysfunctional corresponding females, and we have what we have in our current social landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
we do.
sorry, y'all, for chewing. I thought I had a mute on there.
Oh no, you're good. I couldn't hear it really.
But yeah, that was a whole mouthful too.
Yeah, yeah,
Dysfunctional females, you add that to it. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Let's talk about money, religion, and power. Money is necessary, indeed vital, at least so far as the things you are able to purchase with money. That is precisely why it has such power to influence people. The herd has been conditioned concerning money. Here we go. The wealthy are responsible for some of the social conditioning around money. The poor are responsible for some of the conditioning around money, mostly the fears about the lack of it. But mainly, the herd itself is responsible for this conditioning. In general, it is a widely heard belief that people with money are better people than are people who are relatively poor. Those with money are smarter, more confident, more powerful, and have higher character. Having a high income or access to money makes one more sexually attractive. Men especially hold this view. Showing the attributes of wealth and success is a primary means of getting other people to accept you. This is especially true if you are different from them.
Right. Okay,
That's deep.
it's true.
It is true. It is true.
Having a little coin is sexy now. Because behind that coin is that person has some type of strategy
Mm-hmm.
to wealth.
Yep.
Everything is strategy and access. It's,
Yep. Yep. It's all about strategy and educating yourself.
and people have looked at me a certain type of way, but I've said for forever, men are supposed to have some form of wealth. Period. If there's lack there, that means somewhere the drive is off balance.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very sexy. You see it all the time. Women chase successful men.
Yeah,
Same thing with women though. We have men out there that chase successful women.
that's true. That's
It's
true.
not just one sided. All right, y'all.
Yeah, but actually, success for each individual is different. You know what I mean?
It
Everybody,
is
everybody might define success differently.
different. Well, I'm ruled by Jupiter, so I'm talking about your coin.
Well, I'm Venus, so you know
Right,
about your coins. So
right, right. Um, um, my Gemini, you gotta have mental smart. You gotta be smart.
hmm
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to stop chewing. I'm sorry.
that's that eagle. That's that eagle right there.
You're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Y'all know them little fruit, the Tootsie Roll chews. Don't buy none of them. You be chewing them. It's addictive. Okay. The views about the views above are widely held and for the most part ingrained in the psyche of the majority of people from the time they are children. It is part of mass consciousness, these fears and desires about money. It is subliminal, woven into the very fabric of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Styles and designs of everything from furniture to cars are done with these concepts in mind. It is in the arts and the driving force behind the media. All of the beliefs above are false beliefs, of course, but because the majority of the population holds these beliefs, they are considered valid. Thus, they have a great bearing on how a man views himself, how females validate him or invalidate him, how he invests his time, and what aspects of his masculine nature he chooses to develop, if any. Unfortunately, with many people, the act of making money is their reason for living and not the experience of life itself. Many people go to school and spend years training to get a job, not so much to live. Most of their prime waking time is spent working, going to work, dressing for work, and seeking to advance at work. They expect to start living after they retire. Consider that it is typical and accepted to invest 4 years and 80,000 to attend college. But most men spend no time and invest no money in training to be married and raising a family. Most men would think such training to be foolish. Men do not train to be sexually skilled. Most resist spending any substantial sum of money to upgrade their sexual skills, and yet his choice of a wife, his married life, and his sexual life has a much greater bearing on his overall happiness than his job. Are you starting to get the picture? Men in general believe that if they achieve a high income, they will be able to attract the women they desire. And to some extent, this is true, but what conditions does this situation attach to such a union? What are the side effects? What false beliefs are involved? What now does he do after he lands this trophy woman? It is a concern. The bottom line is that he develops himself to serve a money making vehicle, be it a job or a business he owns. He neglects the development of his own self, his natal energy, and his masculine archetypes. The bottom line is that he develops himself to serve a money making vehicle, be it a job he owns, be it a job or a business he owns. He neglects the development of his own self, his natal energy, his masculine archetypes. Thus, it can be seen that men can be programmed with subliminal false beliefs which influence them to behave in ways that appear to enhance their life, when indeed that when indeed the very opposite is true. When everyone is racing to make as much money as they can, it puts pressure on everyone around them to do the same. If a man falls behind in the money making race, he is crushed. The women reject him. His children refuse to respect him. Society assigns him a role as a loser, a failure, and a scrub. But this is the herd talking mass consciousness. And though he does have value, even if it's only potential value, he often falls into the trap. The herd mind is normally flawed. Following the herd mind will end in negative outcomes sooner than later. If the herd mind were right, society would be paradise. So when he reaches the crossroad and suffers, his peers will blame him, and he may blame himself. But he really went astray a long time ago when he decided to follow the herd about money. And the current issue is he really only and the current issue is really only the latest crisis in a long list of problems he has signed up for. Male sexual traits are redefined from natural male partnerships to add value to commercial products. Sex is used to sell things. To sell the maximum amount, women and men are encouraged to be self-centered. They are often, they are encouraged to buy and consume at rates that far exceed their needs, their means, or their ability to sustain such levels. In the face of this, society has become so driven by the needs of ever more income and ever more growth that now it is almost impossible to survive without conforming. You must live to pay tens of thousands of dollars each year in taxes. To have shelter, you must pay each month, whether a 30-year mortgage or rent. To eat, you pay each month. To to eat, hold on. To eat, you pay each monthly cycle. To purchase food from a distribution point. Let's just highlight that. You are going to a distribution point thinking that you getting real food.
Right. I'm just like, what?
You don't even supply your own food. You already living foul. We go into these stores once a month. We spend hundreds of dollars, and you're buying chemically sprayed and genetically modified items, and then had the audacity to be shopping at these stores like Sprout and all these other these places. They seem great, but
Right.
truth is, you getting chemicals,
Yep.
and it's more about statute. But I digress.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Um, he said to eat each month you pay each monthly cycle to purchase food from a distribution point. Food is no longer available from the environment anymore. It has intentionally been
Mm.
removed.
Yep.
And it is now against the law to acquire food naturally without a permit. Most people are required to drive a car to survive. To conform, one has to buy electricity. Even things such as a cell phone are almost a necessity now because so many people have them. You must have a credit rating to do things. I'm sorry. To do many things that have nothing to do with credit, such as get a job. You must have a credit card to do many things. This dynamic of money acts to hinder natural male development.
And that's true. Everything he just said in that statement is so true.
Right.
But if you know the education and what we have recently been studying, some of these things can be changed.
Hmm.
And it's just a shame, though. It really is, especially with the food.
Yeah. One of my plans is to be able to get my garden landscaped. I want it more organized
Mm-hmm.
so that it'll work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also want to install just a big area with posts because Texas sun is extreme to provide light to filter through, but not so much. But it still be like fenced in because animals and stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Only thing you can't keep out is snakes, but just in general, we got to get back to gardening.
Yeah. Yeah. We do.
We got to grow our own food. Religion.
Yeah.
Religious practice and religious beliefs are designed with good intention, but 99% of the time, the attempts by religious institutions to shape the behavior to conform to a divine ideal have just the opposite effect. Most past spiritual masters follow the same motive. The holy man presents a system of evolution. It is through the process of attaining this evolution that man changes his style of life. The masters show the example of this evolution in the model of their own life. In following the system of evolution, the common man can duplicate in his or her life the evolution that the master had attained. You rarely see these holy men judging people as being right or wrong. They are invested in getting people to evolve. The holy men promote a system, not a doctrine. Religions are based on doctrine, and this is the problem. They take these good systems of evolution and they convert them into a doctrine. When they do this, the system loses its effectiveness in fostering natural evolution. The spirit stagnates. Society believes it is engaged in a progressive action, but in truth, the members of that religion now come under the influence of a false belief structure. It is the followers of these holy men who form and promote the doctrines, and thus religions are doomed to fail in this regard because, by definition, they are based on the premise that God is an external thing, something outside and apart from us. You have to say this in order to promote a belief system based on a doctrine. If you agree with the original masters and say that God is a part of us and we are not separate from God, then you have a system of evolution. This is much harder to do, for you have to walk the streets. You have to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. Right. Let me highlight that. Because that's what I'm saying. It's like all this consciousness. It's people talking. People ain't actually doing. What kind of relief are you bringing?
Right.
Hey, Rachel. Um, God is not an external thing, and so when you make it external, then you could always be falling short. But when you know that God is on the inside, then you have to move and act like God. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the thing. Uh, Now we see that in religion because now they got all these updated Bibles where they accepting of the chaos. It's like no, y'all done changed that. Y'all adding to it.
Yeah.
And you know when you read it, it say anybody that's adding to it or taking away from it, they shall perish. You know,
Yep.
you gonna be up out of here. You cursed. That's a problem. Um, and I don't subscribe to religion, y'all, but I did grow up in the church, so I'm gonna let y'all know what it say for those of you that do. Um, okay, so it says this is much harder to do because you have to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. The clergy finds this difficult to do consistently. It is one thing to say if you qualify to be a Christian because you follow the doctrine. It is quite another thing to say if you're a Christian because you have duplicated the feats and evolution of Jesus in your own life. And that's what it's about. It was just a story, not for you to follow nobody. It's a story, and it amplifies itself in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's you walking your journey, bearing your own cross. This would mean that modern Christians would have to equal the energy healing feats of the founder. It is one thing to say you are a follower of Islam because you follow the doctrine of the Prophet, but it is quite another thing to be evolved to the point that you can go into a cave and commune with the angels at will. They talk the talk, but the proof comes in walking the walk. It is impossible to separate God from the things that he or she it created. It created, yeah. And it is equally ridiculous to try to support any doctrine that separates mankind from God. But almost every secular religion attempts to do this, all with the same degree of failure. They they all follow the same pattern. The master leaves behind a system of evolution and the proof that it could be attained in the example of his life. If the immediate generations to follow, the disciples follow the system and evolve, then in a few generations, those followers who fail for whatever reason to achieve the desired result begin the process of converting the system into a static doctrine. Those who have failed, that's what it says. that the all accepting. Oh, he loves everybody. That's not what the old book say. He didn't say that. It said he had a specific people that he held to his heart dearly. It didn't say he loved everybody. And when I hear people say that, or when I see other cultures practicing, it's quite okay with me. That's on you. That's on you. It didn't say that though. Don't y'all believe them new books? Y'all better go find one of them old, dust off them old Bibles. So he's just saying if you can't walk the walk, then you just in fact are not a master. Over the years, the doctrine is modified to suit the times, but the people following it stop the pattern of evolution. Inevitably, the doctrine is reduced to a collection of false belief systems, which has the exact opposite result than what was intended. There are hundreds of forms of Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, etc., each one operating under the arrogant and imperial assumption that somehow it is the one true authentic form. This is not to say that many individuals following a faith does not indeed lead a life of service and value. There can be no doubt of this truth, but the level of delusional thinking is incredible. That somehow a version of a religion created 1,000 years ago after the fact could somehow be more authentic than the system set forth by the master himself who brought the original version to earth. To regulate thinking, these institutions use fear, guilt, sin, and an isolationist mentality. Such false beliefs obstruct and sabotage a male's natural development of the four masculine energy archetypes. There are political, financial, and sexual repercussions. They act mainly to divide a woman from her man in the same way that religions divide the nations apart and bring about divisions between parent and child, sister and brother. Spiritual systems always unite people of different walks while religions always divide them. Spiritual systems always unite while religious divide. Spiritual unites, religious divides. That's so true. Because, honey, all the judgment be coming from these religious people. Okay? The human spirit has three major divisions of evolution. These stages of evolution can be measured against very concrete standards. Divine man is the Ba man. Superior man is the Ab man. Inferior man is Sahu man. So divine man is the Ba man. Superior man is Ab man. And inferior man is Sahu man. This measure is based off of the tree of life, off of the true, based on the tree of life paradigm. Until a human reaches the third and highest stage of evolution, the mind is not capable of even the conception of divinity. In the states of evolution inferior to this, consciousness, perception, and reason is flawed, imperfect, and relative. Only after reaching the third tier is the understanding absolute and complete. It is a rare person who gets to this place. Perhaps only one person in every 100 million will reach this point. Thus, the concept of absolute, unconditional, and fixed religions doctrine is an illusion. It is not possible to put such a thing in writing. For the people it would be intended for would by definition be incapable of comprehending it. Claims to the contrary are fraudulent. Religions have a place in culture. I am not against religion. There's a much good there. But the negative influence of a doctrine based belief system, which is faith based, has on the development of the modern man must be considered. Oh, so the negative influence of a doctrine based belief system has on the development of the modern man must be considered. Okay. Ooh. Rachel in the
Hey,
building.
Rachel.
Okay. Power. Every living thing needs and desires power. Without power, an organism stops being alive. The human desire for power is not only natural but essential to life. But power can corrupt. Then how does a superior man define the unnatural application of power? The lion hunts down the wild pig in the jungle and kills and eats it. It is violence. The pig is killed. You hear that?
Uh-huh.
It's feedback.
It's just a little staticky.
It ain't static.
Now everything was going fine, and all of a sudden, somebody trying to take us off, but we're not gonna let that happen. So let's move on.
So is it staticky now?
Well, it's not staticky as to the point where no one can understand. So now it's not static anymore. No, it's gone.
That's so weird. Okay.
You heard it?
I did. I didn't hear the static. I can hear the feedback.
Okay, I don't hear no feedback though.
It's almost as if you have. I have it open on my phone too,
Mm-hmm.
but my phone volume is all the way down. I don't hear it right now. Um. Okay. Power. Every living thing needs and desires power. Without power, an organism stops being alive. The human desire for power is not only natural but also essential to life. Hold on, to life. But power can corrupt. Then how does a superior man define the unnatural application of power? The lion hunts down the wild pig in the jungle and kills and eats it. It is violence. The pig is killed. Is it proper? Is this a violation? No, it is natural. A hawk kills and eats a snake. This is natural. Nature is a delicate wheel, a delicate balance. There is an old African saying that nothing lives unless something dies. It speaks to the balance in nature. When power supports the balance in nature, the old cycle, then it is proper. When power destroys this balance, creates misalignments, breaks the cycle, or prevents any living thing from living in the manner in which it was designed, this is a violation, a corruption. Much of the political power men and women crave today is imperial in nature. It assumes the governing group has a better knowledge of how people should live than the group that is being governed. And it assumes that the governing body has the right to enforce its dictates on others. Because this is often not true, we find one group imposing conditions on another that clearly interferes with natural personal development. The denial of women's right to vote is an example. Slavery is another example. But most of the time, it is something that seems innocent, but in fact is often very harmful. Such things as dress codes, building code styles, marriage laws, divorce laws, the regulation of education, interference by the state in domestic and family matters, welfare laws, and such things which hinder human spiritual development most. These laws and codes force a herd mentality. They prevent people from the pursuit of a natural and holistic lifestyle. They are not necessary for society to have order, nor do they contribute to any sustainable progress. In order to be sustainable, People must do things of their own free will. Also, the existence of so much regulation, law, and codes means that punishments need to be handed out for those who break the rules. So today, millions are locked down in prison. Millions are trapped in a welfare maze. The state requires a marriage license and forces the divorce of the union if either party becomes irritated. Schools, offices, and businesses. I keep hearing.
I hear a little bit of a nat. Well, no, I don't hear that. I just hear a little bit of static. I don't hear no, background noise.
This is weird. Let's see. You still hear the static?
A little bit.
Mm.
Okay, now I don't hear it.
Okay. Millions are trapped in a welfare maze. The state requires a marriage license and forces the divorce of a union if either party becomes irritated. Schools, offices, and businesses require a dress code if a family wants to feng shui their house. The county permit office will not allow it. The abuse of power, overregulation, interference in the course of life, and imposition into individual sovereignty takes a massive toll on people today. They cannot develop naturally under so massive a burden. To cope or compensate, men tend to become more yin, more aggressive, and more competitive and express their energy in an artificial way. Finally, we have the herd mentality. It is not unique to modern society. The herd people are the majority, the masses. They are the people who live their lives as one constant reaction to the actions set in motion by the creative people and the elite aristocracy. The elite aristocrats, the elite aristocracies are the fence builders of life. They erect all of these social boundaries that keep the herd people from really living. The creative people are always trying to set the herd people free. The elite aristocracy is a system, the man, the conspiracy, and the power behind the government. They do not run the world, but they are constantly engaged in steering it in certain directions and keeping men and women within certain boundaries. This is a major impediment to evolution. The elite aristocracies are parasites, and the masses are their hosts. It is because the masses are so greedy for money, hungry for power, and satisfied with religion instead of evolution that the parasites can control them. It is like parasites and viruses inside the human body. They focus their attack on the tissues that are weak. Honey, I'm just thinking like this is his point of view. Now the stuff we now know,
Right.
it just shifts the whole view. It's
Yep.
like the blame is really on the self for not
Hmm.
knowing.
Yep. That's right.
And so
That's right.
that's it. It's not them. Like you said, you gonna make the law work for you,
Uh-huh.
or you gonna be steered by the law and you be gonna be like on a wave. That's what they say in the Kabbalah. The ebbs and flows of life. You gonna be getting bumped and ran over with them ebbs and flows.
That's right.
Okay. What you think, Lisa?
I mean, for me, I just think like it's a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of not knowing,
Mm,
so that all goes back to when we as people, we see other people do something one way and we just follow along. We don't actually read to find out the correct way to do things. you
Right.
know? So, I mean, we just have to, we as people have to read. Like, we literally just have to read.
You gotta read.
I mean, it's important. And then, I don't know, but something else you said, I don't know. I'll, when I find it, I'll bring it back up.
You gotta read. If you don't read, you'll be in trouble. So yeah, I'm just
Right here where it says millions are trapped in the welfare maze. They're
right.
getting everybody trapped up in that welfare maze, you know? And it's really a shame.
Yeah. But when you know that the welfare was made for the American Indian, then that shifts what's going on.
Yep.
It was made for the American Indian. Period.
Right.
It's not what they making it out to be. They make you feel guilty
Yep.
for getting your benefits on your land.
Hmm. And I just, what we're talking about, like a lot of things that we are talking about, like right now, because we're studying something else, all that can really be pulled into what he's actually speaking of right now. But we definitely got to keep it separate, but yeah. Anyway, I'm okay.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a But we learning right now,
Yeah.
y'all gotta study law, and we don't mean law. We don't mean Black's law. We ain't talking about Black's law. If they telling you, what you say, if black is dead, why would you need
Yeah.
that Black's law? Not that kind of law.
Right. Like, yeah. You're not black. Like, that should never even be something that's coming out of your mouth. If you read.
I'm over here ordering my calendar for this. I have to have a calendar I can write in, and calendars are kind of expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you want a good calendar, they kind of expensive. But yeah, you definitely have to make sure that you are studying all these stuff and all these people. But out of here, we ain't gonna share too much because
Yeah, we can't.
you know,
Not at this point. Not that we can't, but just not at this point.
right? We still really learning it all, but it's a lot. And again, when you talking about the laws for Congress and all that and what they got going on, when you talking about the real stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the laws that they use to protect these corporations, you have to remember you are living in a corporation.
That's right.
But yeah, I guess I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta let my seed get some sun today.
Yep. And
Go to
down this way it's raining, so we don't got no sun. We got clouds. But I like to be outside too. So I hear you, sister.
right. I'm like, well, I ain't been outside all day. I'm
Well,
going out
I got
here.
some studying to do, so I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be studying. So
And I'm gonna study. I'm gonna take my phone and listen on my phone and then come back in. I'm gonna make a rotisserie chicken that's already out. I'm gonna pop that in the oven. And them cabbage I made last week, I still got some of those. So I'm gonna put those back on the stove and make some cornbread. And that's gonna be it.
yeah, I'm just gonna cook some cod. I ain't really doing too much. It's me today, me rolling solo. So me and the dogs.
Okay. So you gonna make some cod?
Yeah, I don't know. Cod and some, maybe some salad.
I need to start making a dang diary, but I don't know how to astrology. But this year I just need me a planner with writing room. What I'm noticing is like they don't really put no more room to write.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so in this process that we're going through, I want to be able to write why I ordered this day
Uh-huh.
and be able to look back in and be like, dang, okay, well I've been ordered it,
Uh-huh. Yep.
whatever part of the process we're in.
Yep.
That's what I intend on doing today. But anyway, again, we're gonna get on out of here. Me and Lisa will be chopping it up on the inside, on the back end. Peace and power to everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And Lisa, I'm gonna get the downloads to you. Just
Okay.
remind me.
Yep.
Remind. Okay, y'all. Peace and power. Bye, Rachel.
Peace and power.